Hey, and welcome back. Dr. Christina here. Are you pregnant and are worried about if your sleeping position is potentially harming your baby? Or maybe you just can't seem to catch a good night's sleep during pregnancy? Well, I've got the answers to help you get some peace of mind as you sleep, as well as tips to help you sleep more comfortably no matter what trimester you're in. So make sure you stay tuned till the end. If you're new to my channel, I'm Dr. Christina Pinnock, and I am a board-certified OBGYN and high-risk pregnancy specialist, and I share videos to help you have a healthy and enjoyable pregnancy. If you haven't yet subscribed, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You can help me grow my channel and reach women just like you. Also, you can get more tips about pregnancy straight to your inbox with my weekly newsletter at healthypregnancyafter30.com, or you can find it in the description box below. All right, so let's get back to sleeping. Now, let's be honest, pregnancy and a good night's sleep don't always go hand in hand, but not to worry, I've got you covered with some tips and tricks to sleep better through every trimester, and I have all that information that you need about good sleep positions. Let's kick off the conversation by talking about sleeping positions. Now, this is one of the most common questions that I get about sleep. I get asked questions about when it's okay to sleep on the back, when it's okay to start sleeping on the side, if you wake up in the night and you're on your back, what does that mean for your baby and your pregnancy? But I'm going to break this down for you by trimester first, and then I'll go into the reasoning about why we make these recommendations after. So let's start with the first trimester. At this stage, you can generally sleep in any position that you like. On your back, on your stomach, on your side, standing up, any position you want, is fine in the first trimester. So you can enjoy the freedom while it lasts to sleep freely in the first trimester. I'd say just make sure that you're comfortable sleeping, whether your mattress or a pillow need to be adjusted just to make sure you get supported with posture. But when we get to the second and third trimester, that's a little different. So by the time your baby bump starts to show and starts growing, that time it's probably best to transition to sleeping on your side, ideally your left side. And then the third trimester, left side sleeping becomes even more important. And we really want you to try to avoid sleeping on your back at that time. Let's talk about the reasons why we recommend these positions. So as your pregnancy progresses, your growing uterus can actually press on some major blood vessels in your body, and that makes sleeping flat on your back really less than ideal after the first trimester. So after about 20 weeks of pregnancy or so, laying flat on your back can actually compress a large vein in your body called the inferior vena cava. And this vein is actually the blood vessel that's responsible for bringing blood back to your heart. And so you can imagine if your uterus is sort of blocking it or compressing it, it can cause blood flow to go back to your heart a lot more slowly, and it can cause you not to feel so great. It causes this syndrome called supine hypotensive syndrome. It's a fancy way to say you're gonna feel a little bit dizzy or lightheaded or even sweaty because your blood pressure drops, because your heart is working a lot harder to pump blood since there's less coming back because of that compression. For some women, it actually doesn't cause any obvious symptoms, but for other women, it may cause those symptoms if you're laying flat on your back. But either way, it can still affect the blood flow that is going to your baby and could potentially reduce the blood flow going to the placenta or perfusion. Even if you feel just fine, it's really a good idea to try to avoid laying on your back for long periods of time. The good news is it's pretty easy to prevent experiencing this by side sleeping, especially if you lay on your left side. Now, this position helps to keep the blood flow going back to your heart properly, and so by extension, your uterus and your baby can get all the blood they need, and so it'll be just better that way. If you're worried about rolling onto your back while you sleep, you can always place a little pillow or even a little small blanket under your left hip, and this can help to keep you propped up in the side position. And believe it or not, all you need is a little bit of a bump. It doesn't have to be a dramatic lay on your side. Just a little bit of tilt is enough to allow that blood to go back up to the heart pretty easily. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you find yourself laying on your back, don't freak out. It's okay. Just go ahead and turn to your side or put a little pillow or blanket under the left hip and go back to sleep. Temporarily doing that is really not going to cause much harm to your baby or pregnancy. And generally, if your body is feeling unwell, it'll naturally cause you to turn over. Now, with that in mind, I did want to leave you with a few tips about how to make side sleeping a little bit more comfortable as your pregnancy progresses. You may already have one, or know about this, but using a full-length pregnancy pillow can be really, really fun, and it can help support your belly and hips and knees. So I'd recommend getting a pregnancy pillow that's full length. If you don't want a pregnancy pillow, you can just use a small pillow under your left hip just to apply a little bit of a bump for that extra support, and that'll help to ease some of that pressure off the abdomen and off of those blood vessels that are coming out. As I mentioned before, if you find yourself waking up on your back, don't freak out, just go on your side, and generally the blood flow is just fine in terms of how quickly it resumes in a normal way. Now, let's talk about sleeping in pregnancy. Sleep matters a lot in general, but it matters actually even more during pregnancy. Your body's doing a lot of work. It's doing an incredible job growing another human. And during sleep is actually when you get not only rest, but your body is actually healing, regenerating, and preparing for the next day of building your baby. And so not getting enough sleep can actually leave you feeling tired, cranky, and it can even impact your immune system. And as your pregnancy progresses, sleep is also going to help to regulate your blood pressure and support your baby's growth. And so overall, sleep is really important. And if you've been struggling to catch those Z's, you're not alone, and this is why I wanted to share this in this video to see if I can help you get a little bit more sleep. Let's talk about the sleep challenges that you'll face in pregnancy by trimester. So in the first trimester, in those early weeks of pregnancy, fatigue is probably the major battle that you'll have with the pregnancy, and fatigue can hit hard, especially due to those rising hormones. And it's completely normal to feel like napping or sleeping all day. And this is also the time when you may have some first trimester symptoms like nausea and breast tenderness, and frequent trips to the bathroom can be starting. And so just giving yourself that extra time and extra grace to get sleep as your body is adjusting to being pregnant is going to be really important. Now, when we get to the second trimester, most women find this to be actually the sweet spot in pregnancy because the morning sickness is fading, your baby bump is still small, and you're still able to move around quite a bit, and you're not yet dealing with some of the third trimester issues that can also affect sleep. And so that time in pregnancy is really the best time to get a lot of rest. Now, when we think about the third trimester, your belly is probably pretty visible, and it can make it hard for you to find a comfortable position. You may be having back pain, you may be feeling your baby kick, you may be having to wake up to pee a lot more in the night, and you may be starting to feel some Braxton Hicks contractions. And so overall, you may not be getting a lot of great sleep in the third trimester. But I just want to touch on the biggest culprits and some solutions to try to fight back so you can get better sleep throughout pregnancy. Now, the first one I'll touch on is that back pain. If you're experiencing a lot of back pain and that's preventing you from having a good night's sleep, go ahead and try placing a pillow between your knees. You can also place one under your belly and your knees for extra support. And if you want, you can even use a wedge pillow behind your back to stop you from rolling back in the middle of the night, and sometimes that can help with back pain. Other things that can cause you not to get a good night's sleep is if you're having heartburn. So heartburn can be pretty uncomfortable, and so if you are getting heartburn, try to avoid eating large meals or spicy foods too close to bedtime. And if that doesn't help, go ahead and reach out to your OB team to see if they can send you some pregnancy-safe medications that can really try to help to treat your heartburn. The next culprit I want to touch on that could cause interruptions in your sleep is having restless legs. And this is a really common condition during pregnancy. It can be managed generally with stretches before bed, hydration, but if it gets worse, go ahead and reach out to your OB provider to see if they can offer you some more solutions. Another big culprit that could impact your sleep is having frequent bathroom trips. This one can be a little bit hard to really taper or get rid of, but one tip that can maybe help some women is if you go ahead and limit the fluids that you're drinking about an hour or two before you go to bed, sometimes that can help to decrease the amount of times that you're going to the bathroom overnight, but still remember to stay hydrated during the day. And then the last thing that I think is common that interrupts sleep during pregnancy is if you're starting to feel your little one move around a lot, especially if they're really active at night. Unfortunately, that's not something that we can necessarily change, but I did want to provide you with some reassurance to say a lot of kicks usually means that your baby's healthy and doing well and active. And so maybe you can try some like soothing music, but overall we love when babies kick, and I'm really sorry if it's at night and it's keeping you up. So before we close, I just want to leave you with a few tips to help you get better sleep. And the first one is to invest in that pregnancy pillow. As I mentioned earlier, they're a game changer. They can help with side sleeping. It can offer support for your back, your bump, your knees. And so that's definitely a good way to go. I can link a good pregnancy pillow in the description box if you're interested. Another tip that I have for you in terms of getting good sleep is to try to stick to a bedtime routine. As much as possible, our bodies are a creature of habit. And so if you can try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, that process creates like a common ritual of sorts. And so it can really help you stay on track in terms of your sleep. Another tip that can sometimes help you sleep better is by creating a comfortable sleep environment. So keeping your bedroom cool, dark, quiet. If you need, you can consider some blackout curtains, or you can even use a white noise machine, which is my personal favorite. Anything to really just create conditions for a really comfortable sleep environment can really help. Other things like exercising regularly can also help. And then lastly, just really try, if you can, to limit your screen time, because that blue light right before bed can really affect your sleep hormones and interrupt your ability to get good sleep. Now, finally, if you are really struggling with sleep, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor. Persistent insomnia, severe snoring, fatigue during the day can actually point to other conditions like sleep apnea, or even some women can experience anxiety about sleep. And so if you feel like your inability to sleep well is a little bit more than expected, go ahead and reach out to your OB providers so they can make sure that you're getting all the solutions that you have available. Thank you so much for joining. Those were most of the tips I had to share with you about sleep. I really hope that this video was helpful to you in terms of giving you some extra information about sleeping positions and how to get a good night's rest. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new videos, and so that I can help to reach other women just like you. Lastly, if you're enjoying these pregnancy tips, go ahead and check out my newsletter at healthypregnancyafter30.com so you can get pregnancy tips straight to your inbox. All right, let me know what your biggest sleep struggles have been so far in pregnancy in the comments below. And always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.